Hey Pisces, I need you to just take a breath with me for a second because what I am about to share with you today is something that Archangel Michael has been practically shouting at me to tell you. And honestly, when I sat down to do this reading, I felt this wave of protective energy wash over me that was so strong, I actually had to pause and recenter myself. You know that situation you have been dealing with? Those people who have been causing problems, creating drama, maybe even actively working against you behind the scenes? I am talking about the ones who smile to your face, but you can feel something is just off about the whole dynamic. Well, Archangel Michael wants you to know something really important right now, and the message is clear as crystal. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to defend yourself. You do not need to prove anything, and you definitely do not need to waste your precious energy trying to expose anyone or fight back. Because here is what is happening in the spiritual realm that you cannot see with your physical eyes. Your enemies, and I am using that word because the cards are using that word. These people who have been working against you, they are currently in a state of complete and total chaos. I am talking about the kind of internal conflict that is tearing them apart from the inside out. And the beautiful thing about divine justice is that you do not have to lift a finger. You just have to be patient and watch as everything unfolds exactly as it is meant to. The cards I pulled for you today are going to reveal exactly what is happening behind the scenes, what these people are going through right now, and most importantly, what you are about to witness in the coming weeks. And I have to tell you, when I saw this spread laid out in front of me, I actually got chills because the universe is setting something up that is going to reveal the truth in such an undeniable way. So before we dive into these cards, I just want you to set an intention with me. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, release any anxiety you have been holding about this situation. Release the need to control the outcome. Release the urge to defend yourself or prove your worth to people who have already shown you they are not operating from a place of integrity. Because what is about to be revealed does not require your participation. It just requires your patience and your trust in divine timing. All right, Pisces, let me tell you about the first card that came through, and this one hit me right in the chest because it is so specific to what you have been experiencing. I pulled the High Priestess, and when this card shows up in a reading about enemies and conflict, it is telling us something really profound about what has been hidden from view. The High Priestess is sitting here showing me that there are secrets that are about to come to light. But here's the thing that makes this so interesting for your situation. This card is not just about secrets being revealed. It is about the fact that you already know the truth on some level. You have been feeling it in your gut, in your intuition, in those moments when someone says one thing, but your entire body is screaming that something else is true. I am seeing that there is someone in your life, or maybe multiple people, who have been playing a role. They have been presenting themselves as one thing while being something completely different behind the scenes. And the High Priestess is telling me that your intuition has been picking up on this discrepancy for a while now. Maybe you have been second-guessing yourself, wondering if you are being paranoid or reading too much into things. But Archangel Michael wants you to know that you have been right all along. What I am seeing with this card is that these people have been keeping up appearances, maintaining a facade, and they have been pretty successful at it so far. They might be good at playing the victim, good at manipulating narratives, good at making themselves look like the reasonable one while painting you as difficult or problematic. The High Priestess energy can sometimes indicate someone who uses spiritual or emotional manipulation, someone who acts all peaceful and enlightened on the surface, while harboring really toxic intentions underneath. But here is where it gets really interesting, and this is where Archangel Michael is stepping in with that protective energy. The High Priestess in this position is showing me that the veil is thinning. All those secrets, all that hidden manipulation, all the things that have been happening in the shadows, they are about to be illuminated. And the beautiful thing is that the truth does not need you to expose it. The truth is going to expose itself. I am seeing that these people have been so confident in their ability to maintain their mask, they have gotten careless. They have gotten comfortable. They think they have everyone fooled, including you. But the High Priestess is the keeper of hidden knowledge, and she is sitting here telling me that what has been concealed is going to be revealed in the most unexpected ways. It might be through someone else seeing through their act. It might be through them contradicting themselves. It might be through situations unfolding that make their true nature impossible to hide. And here is something that Archangel Michael really wants you to understand. The reason you need to be patient right now is because the truth coming out on its own, without your involvement, is going to be so much more powerful than if you tried to expose these people yourself. Think about it. If you go around trying to tell people what you have observed, what you have intuited, you become easy to dismiss. They can paint you as bitter, jealous, vindictive, whatever narrative they want to spin. But when the truth reveals itself naturally, when their own actions and words expose who they really are, nobody can deny it. Nobody can spin it. The truth just is. The High Priestess is also giving me this sense that you have been in a period of deep spiritual growth and intuitive development. You have been learning to trust yourself on a level you never have before. And part of what has made this situation so challenging is that you knew something was off, but you were fighting against your own knowing because you did not have concrete proof. You did not have evidence that you could point to and say, "See, I told you something was wrong here." But Archangel Michael is telling me that this experience has been teaching you one of the most valuable lessons you will ever learn. You do not need external validation to trust your intuition. Your inner knowing is valid whether or not you can prove it to anyone else. And by staying patient right now, by not jumping into defense mode or trying to convince anyone of what you know to be true, you are actually strengthening that connection to your intuition even more. I am also seeing with the High Priestess that there is a spiritual protection around you right now that is absolutely impenetrable. These people might think they are affecting you, they might think their negative energy or their manipulations are getting through, but the High Priestess is like this veil of protection. Their energy is not landing, their intentions are bouncing right back to them. And this is actually part of what is causing the chaos in their own lives that we are going to talk about with the other cards. What I find really fascinating about the High Priestess showing up first in this reading is that she represents the divine feminine energy of receptivity and patience. This is not a card that says go out and fight. This is not a card that says defend yourself or prove your case. This is a card that says sit back, trust what you know, and watch as the universe handles this for you. And I know that can feel frustrating when you have been hurt or betrayed, when you want justice now. But the High Priestess is reminding you that divine timing is always perfect. And what is unfolding behind the scenes is setting up a revelation that is going to be far more satisfying than anything you could orchestrate yourself. Let me move into the second card. And Pisces, when I pulled the Knight of Pentacles, I actually had to sit with it for a minute because the message here is so specific and so important for where you are right now. This Knight is showing up to tell you something about the pace of what is happening and why patience is absolutely critical in this situation. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the entire tarot deck. He does not rush, he does not make impulsive moves, he takes his time, and he does everything with careful deliberation. And I know when you first hear that, you might be thinking, oh great, so this is going to take forever. Nothing is happening quickly. But that is not actually what this card is saying to you. What the Knight of Pentacles is revealing is that there is a methodical, systematic process happening right now. Archangel Michael is working behind the scenes in a very strategic way. This is not about dramatic, sudden revelations or explosive confrontations. This is about a careful unraveling of lies, a steady accumulation of evidence, a slow but certain collapse of false narratives. And the reason it needs to happen this way is because when it is done methodically, when each piece falls into place one by one, the final result is completely undeniable and absolutely permanent. I am seeing that these people who have been working against you, they are starting to make mistakes. Small ones at first, little inconsistencies in their stories, tiny cracks in their carefully maintained image. And the Knight of Pentacles energy is showing me that each of these small mistakes is being noted, is being observed, is building into a bigger picture that other people are starting to see. But it is happening gradually enough that these people do not even realize they are exposing themselves yet. This is actually brilliant divine strategy when you think about it. If there was one big explosive moment of truth right now, these people could potentially recover from it. They could spin it, make excuses, do damage control. But what is happening instead is a slow erosion of their credibility. One small contradiction here, one moment where their mask slips there, one situation where their true nature shows through. And over time, the people around them are forming a picture of who they really are that they cannot unsee. The Knight of Pentacles is also telling me something about your role in all of this. And this is where the message about patience becomes so important. This Knight represents someone who is grounded, stable, practical, and not easily shaken. And right now, your job is to embody these qualities. You need to stay in your integrity. You need to keep showing up as your authentic self. You need to continue being reliable, honest, and consistent in your own behavior. Because here is what is happening energetically. While these other people are in chaos and conflict, constantly having to remember what lies they told to whom, constantly having to maintain their false image, constantly using energy to manipulate and control narratives, you get to just be yourself. You do not have to keep track of multiple versions of reality. You do not have to work to maintain a facade. You just get to live in your truth, and that truth is solid like the earth element of this Pentacles card. And other people are noticing this difference, even if they are not consciously aware of it yet. They are noticing that you are stable, while these other people seem increasingly erratic. They are noticing that your story stays consistent, while other stories keep changing. They are noticing that you have a calm groundedness, while these other people have this frantic energy of someone who is trying to control too many variables. The Knight of Pentacles is giving me this image of someone building a house. You do not build a house in a day. You lay the foundation, you put up the frame, you add the walls, you work on the electrical and plumbing, you do the finishing work. Each step takes time, but each step is necessary. And when it is all done, you have something solid and lasting. That is what is happening right now with this situation. The truth is being constructed piece by piece, and when the full structure is visible, it is going to be absolutely solid and unshakable. I am also seeing that the Knight of Pentacles is bringing you a message about practical matters and material stability. While these other people are consumed with drama and conflict, you need to stay focused on building your own life. Keep working on your goals. Keep taking care of your responsibilities. Keep making practical progress in your career, your finances, your health, whatever areas of life need your attention. Because one of the ways that divine justice works is that while your enemies are destroying themselves through their own chaos, you are steadily building a better life for yourself. There is something here too about not rushing into reactions or decisions based on what these people do or say. The Knight of Pentacles does not react impulsively. He observes, he considers, and he acts only when the timing is right and the path is clear. So if these people try to provoke you, if they try to get a reaction out of you, if they try to pull you into their drama, the Knight of Pentacles is telling you to stay grounded. Do not take the bait. Do not let their chaos disrupt your peace. Just keep moving forward at your own steady pace. And here is something really beautiful that I am getting from this card. The Knight of Pentacles represents loyalty and commitment. And I am seeing that there are people in your life, good people who genuinely care about you, who are going to prove their loyalty during this time. They might be quiet about it. They might not make big dramatic declarations, but they are steady and solid in their support of you, just like this Knight. And as the truth becomes more apparent, these loyal people are going to be there standing firmly in your corner. Now, Pisces, the third card I pulled is one that made me actually take a sharp breath because it is so directly addressing what your enemies are experiencing right now. I pulled Death, and before you let that word scare you, let me tell you what this card is really revealing about what is happening to the people who have been working against you. The Death card in tarot is not about physical death. It is about transformation, endings, and the complete dissolution of old structures that no longer serve. And when this card shows up in a reading about your enemies being in chaos and conflict, it is showing me that these people are experiencing the death of their false identity. Everything they have built on lies and manipulation is crumbling, and they cannot stop it. What I am seeing so clearly with this card is that these people are going through an internal crisis right now. The persona they have been presenting to the world is dying. The narratives they have been spinning are falling apart. The relationships they have built on deception are dissolving. And this is not something they can control or prevent, because death is one of those cards that represents inevitable change. It is a force of nature. It just is, and no amount of resistance can stop it. Archangel Michael is showing me that part of what is causing the chaos and conflict among your enemies is that they are fighting against this transformation. They are desperately trying to hold on to their false image. They are scrambling to keep their lies straight. They are working overtime to maintain the illusion they have created. But the Death card does not care how hard you fight against it. The transformation is happening whether they cooperate with it or not. I am getting this really strong sense that some of these people are starting to turn on each other. When people build relationships based on manipulation and shared toxicity rather than genuine connection, those relationships are incredibly fragile. And now that things are falling apart, they are looking for someone to blame. They are pointing fingers at each other. They are throwing each other under the bus to try to save themselves. The conflict is not just between them and you anymore. The conflict is between them and each other, and that internal discord is accelerating their downfall. The Death card is also showing me something about exposure that ties back to what we saw with the High Priestess. When things die, when structures crumble, what is underneath gets revealed. It is like when a building is demolished and you can suddenly see the foundation, see what it was really built on. These people have been building their image on a foundation of lies, manipulation, and false narratives. And as the Death card does its work, as their carefully constructed persona crumbles away, everyone is going to see that rotten foundation. Everyone is going to see what was really underneath all along. There is also this element of the Death card that is about consequences catching up. In tarot, Death is card number 13, and it represents the karmic completion of cycles. These people have been putting negative energy out into the world. They have been hurting people. They have been lying and manipulating, and now the cycle is completing. What they sent out is coming back to them multiplied. And that return of energy is what is creating the chaos in their lives. What I find particularly powerful about the Death card in this position is that it shows the transformation is total and irreversible. This is not a temporary setback for these people. This is not something they can recover from and go back to how things were before. The old version of them, the false persona they have been presenting, is dying permanently. And what emerges from this death will be either genuine transformation if they finally choose to face themselves honestly, or complete exposure and isolation if they continue to resist the truth. Archangel Michael is giving me this message so clearly. He is saying that you do not need to participate in their destruction. You do not need to add to their chaos or conflict. The Death card is an impersonal force. It is transformation happening at a soul level. Your enemies are essentially destroying themselves through their own resistance to truth and growth. All you need to do is step back and let the natural consequences of their actions unfold. I am also seeing that the Death card is clearing the way for something new in your life. Because as these toxic people and situations fall away, as the truth gets revealed and these relationships dissolve, you are going to have space for genuine connections. You are going to have energy freed up that was being drained by these dynamics. You are going to be able to move forward into a new chapter of your life that is built on authenticity, rather than having to navigate around people who are living in illusion and deception. The Death card is telling me that this is a necessary ending. It might feel uncomfortable to watch, especially if you are someone with a compassionate Pisces heart who does not like to see anyone suffer even when they have hurt you. But this ending is actually merciful in a weird way. These people cannot grow or evolve or become better versions of themselves while they are clinging to their false identity. The death of that false self is actually creating the possibility for real change, even though they are fighting it every step of the way right now. What strikes me about having the Death card appear in this reading is the confirmation that you are not imagining things. This is not a minor conflict or a simple misunderstanding. This is a major karmic situation where truth is overtaking lies, where authentic energy is dismantling false narratives, where the universe is literally transforming the entire dynamic. And your patience during this death and rebirth process is going to be rewarded beyond what you can currently imagine. All right, Pisces, I am moving into the fourth card now, and when I pulled the Fool, I actually had to pause and ask for clarification because at first glance, you might think this card is random or does not fit the theme of enemies and chaos. But once the message started coming through, I realized this card is absolutely perfect for what Archangel Michael wants you to understand right now. The Fool is card 0 in the tarot deck. It represents new beginnings, innocence, taking a leap of faith, and stepping into the unknown with trust rather than fear. And in this reading about your enemies being in chaos, the Fool is showing me something really important about you and about the new chapter you are stepping into while all this chaos is unfolding around you. What I am seeing is that while these other people are trapped in cycles of conflict and dealing with the consequences of their actions, you are being given the opportunity to start fresh. The Fool is showing me that you are walking away from old patterns, old dynamics, old ways of being that kept you entangled with toxic people. And there is this energy of freedom and lightness that comes with the Fool that is so refreshing after everything you have been through. The Fool stands at the edge of a cliff, about to step off into the unknown. And traditionally, people interpret this as being naive or reckless. But that is not what I am getting here. What I am seeing is that the Fool has the wisdom to know that staying in the known, staying in toxic situations just because they are familiar, is actually more dangerous than taking the leap into something new and uncertain. The Fool trusts that the universe will catch them. The Fool trusts that stepping away from what is harming them is the right move, even when they cannot see exactly where they will land. Archangel Michael is showing me that you have been getting signs and messages encouraging you to release these situations and people, to step into a new version of yourself, to trust that better things are waiting for you. And the Fool is confirmation that now is the time to really commit to that new beginning. Now is the time to stop looking back at the drama and chaos and just keep your eyes forward on the fresh path opening up in front of you. I am seeing that the Fool carries a small bag, which represents traveling light, taking only what you need and leaving behind everything that weighs you down. And this is such an important message for you right now. You need to leave behind the hurt, the betrayal, the anger, the need for revenge, all of it. Not because those feelings are not valid, but because carrying them with you is going to slow you down on this new journey. The Fool teaches us that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is just let go and move forward unburdened. There is also something here about the Fool being innocent, but not ignorant. The Fool has been through the entire journey of the tarot before, has experienced all 21 major arcana lessons, and is now beginning again with the wisdom of those experiences integrated at a soul level. You are not naive about what happened. You are not pretending that these people did not show you their true nature. But you are choosing to approach your new beginning with an open heart rather than a closed one, with hope rather than cynicism, with trust rather than fear. The Fool is accompanied by a little white dog, which represents loyalty, protection, and instinct. And I am getting the message that as you step into this new beginning, you are being spiritually protected and guided. Your intuition is sharper than ever. You can sense danger before it gets close. You can recognize toxic patterns before they fully develop. The lessons you learned from this situation have given you wisdom that is going to serve you so well moving forward. What is really beautiful about the Fool showing up in this reading is that it represents pure potential. You are not defined by what these people did to you or said about you. You are not limited by their perception of you or the false narratives they tried to create. The Fool stands at the beginning of infinite possibilities, and that is where you are right now. You get to decide who you are and who you want to become. You get to write the next chapter of your story. And the chaos that your enemies are experiencing is completely separate from your journey forward. I am also getting this sense that the Fool is encouraging you to embrace a sense of adventure and spontaneity in your life right now. While these other people are bogged down in drama and conflict, you get to explore new interests, meet new people, try new things. The Fool is about saying yes to life, about being open to experiences, about not letting fear or past hurt keep you playing small or holding back. The Fool is also showing me that you are being called to trust in divine timing and divine protection even more deeply than you already do. The Fool steps off the cliff, not knowing if they will fall or fly, but trusting that the universe has their back. And Archangel Michael is asking you to have that same level of trust right now. Trust that you are being guided. Trust that you are being protected. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to for your highest good. There is something else coming through with the Fool that feels important. This card often represents someone who is underestimated by others. People look at the Fool and think they are simple or clueless, not realizing that the Fool carries profound wisdom and spiritual understanding. And I am seeing that your enemies have underestimated you. They thought you would not see through their games. They thought you would not have the strength to walk away. They thought you would be easy to manipulate or control. But the Fool is showing me that you are so much stronger, wiser, and more spiritually aware than they ever gave you credit for. And their underestimation of you is actually part of what is contributing to their current chaos, because they made moves based on a false assumption of who you are. Now, Pisces, we are getting into the fifth card, and I need you to really hear this one because it is revealing exactly what is happening with these people behind the scenes that they do not want anyone to see. I pulled Six of Swords, and when this card appears in a reading about enemies and chaos, it is telling us something crucial about transition, escape, and troubled waters. The Six of Swords traditionally shows a figure in a boat moving away from rough waters toward calmer shores. And in this reading, what I am seeing is that this represents your enemies trying to escape the consequences of their actions. They are trying to move away from the chaos they created. They are trying to leave behind the conflict and trouble that is catching up with them. But here is the thing that makes this so interesting. The Six of Swords is a card of difficult transition. It is not an easy escape. It is not a clean getaway. It is a troubled journey away from something even worse. What Archangel Michael is showing me is that these people are realizing they cannot sustain the lies anymore. They cannot keep up the facade. They cannot maintain the energy it takes to manipulate everyone around them. And so they are trying to retreat, trying to distance themselves, trying to move on to new situations where people do not know their history. But the Six of Swords is showing me that they are carrying their swords with them. Those swords represent their guilt, their karma, their unresolved issues. They cannot actually escape themselves no matter how far they run. I am seeing that some of these people might physically distance themselves from the situation. They might leave a job, move to a new location, cut off mutual friends, whatever they think will help them start fresh somewhere else. But the Six of Swords is revealing that they are taking their toxic patterns with them. They are taking their manipulative tendencies with them. They are taking their victim mentality with them. And eventually, they are going to recreate the same chaos and conflict in their new environment because they have not actually dealt with the root issues within themselves. The Six of Swords is also showing me that there is sadness and grief mixed in with all the chaos your enemies are experiencing. Underneath the conflict and the drama, there is actually a part of them that knows they destroyed something that could have been good. There is a part of them that regrets the choices they made, the lies they told, the trust they broke. But their pride will not let them admit it. Their ego will not let them be vulnerable enough to acknowledge their mistakes and make genuine amends. So instead, they are just trying to escape the situation entirely and pretend it never happened. What is interesting about the Six of Swords appearing here is that it shows these people are in a state of transition that feels like defeat to them. They thought they were going to win whatever game they were playing. They thought their manipulation would be successful. They thought they would come out on top while you were left struggling. But instead, they are the ones who are having to retreat, having to escape, having to move away from a situation that became too hot for them to handle, And that realization that they did not win, that their schemes did not work out the way they planned, is part of what is creating the internal conflict and chaos. Archangel Michael is telling me that you need to let them go. The Six of Swords is about movement and transition, and you need to allow these people to exit your life completely. Do not try to keep tabs on them. Do not monitor what they are doing or where they are going. Do not spend energy wondering if they are succeeding in their new situation or if they are still causing problems. They are on their own journey now, and that journey is going to lead them exactly where they need to go to learn the lessons their soul needs to learn. I am also seeing that the Six of Swords represents a necessary separation. These people need to be removed from your life completely so that you can truly move forward into the new beginning that the Fool promised. As long as you are still energetically connected to them, still thinking about them, still hoping they get exposed or receive consequences, you are keeping yourself tied to their energy. The Six of Swords is asking you to cut those energetic cords and let them sail away into their own troubled waters while you stay grounded on solid land. The Six of Swords shows six swords standing upright in the boat, and swords represent thoughts, communication, and mental processes. What I am getting is that these people are carrying a lot of mental baggage. They are replaying situations in their mind, trying to justify their actions, creating elaborate mental narratives to avoid taking responsibility. And that mental turmoil is exhausting them. It is contributing to the chaos they are experiencing because they cannot find peace in their own minds. There is also a message here about you maintaining your mental clarity during this transition. While they are lost in confusion and mental conflict, you need to keep your thoughts clear and focused on your own path forward. The Six of Swords reminds us that we cannot control other people's journeys, but we can absolutely control our own. We can choose to stay in calm waters. We can choose to maintain our peace. We can choose to process our experiences in healthy ways rather than carrying around mental baggage that weighs us down. What strikes me about the Six of Swords in this position is that it confirms these people are leaving, but they are leaving damaged. They are not riding off into the sunset victorious. They are retreating wounded and troubled, carrying the consequences of their choices with them. And Archangel Michael wants you to know that this is the divine justice you have been waiting for. Not some dramatic public exposure necessarily, but these people having to live with themselves, having to face themselves, having to carry the weight of what they have done. That is a heavier burden than any external punishment could ever be. Pisces, we have reached the final card in this reading, and I have to tell you, when I pulled Four of Wands, I literally felt my entire body relax, because this card is such a beautiful promise of what is waiting for you on the other side of all this chaos and conflict. The Four of Wands is a card of celebration, stability, homecoming, and joyful community. And it is showing me that while your enemies are in turmoil, you are building something solid and beautiful in your own life. The Four of Wands traditionally depicts a celebration under a canopy of flowers and greenery, with people dancing and rejoicing together. It represents reaching a milestone, achieving a goal, creating stability after a period of uncertainty. And in this reading, it is revealing that all the patience you have been exercising, all the integrity you have been maintaining, all the inner work you have been doing while these other people were focused on drama, it is all leading you to a place of genuine joy and celebration. What I am seeing so clearly is that the Four of Wands represents the life you are building for yourself that is completely separate from these toxic people and situations. While they are struggling with chaos and conflict, you are creating community, building genuine relationships, establishing stability in your career or home life, and reaching goals that actually matter to you. The Four of Wands is about reaping the rewards of doing things the right way, with integrity and authenticity. Archangel Michael is showing me that there is going to be a moment in the near future, I am talking within the next few weeks to a couple of months, where you are going to have a celebration or achievement that makes you realize how far you have come. It might be a work success, a personal milestone, a new relationship that feels healthy and real, or simply a moment where you look around at your life and feel genuine gratitude and peace. And in that moment, you are going to recognize that the chaos you walked away from has absolutely nothing to do with the joy you are experiencing now. The Four of Wands is built on a foundation of 4 strong wands, which represent stability and solid structure. This is showing me that you have been doing the work to build a strong foundation in your life. You have been setting boundaries, choosing healthier patterns, surrounding yourself with better people, making choices aligned with your values. And that foundation is now strong enough to support the beautiful life you are creating on top of it. I am getting this really strong message about community and authentic connection with the Four of Wands. This card often appears when someone is finding their tribe, their people, the relationships where they can truly be themselves without fear of judgment or betrayal. And after what you have been through with these manipulative people, finding genuine, authentic connection is going to feel like coming home. You are going to remember what it feels like to be around people who celebrate you rather than compete with you, who support you rather than undermine you, who show up consistently rather than playing games. The Four of Wands is also about reaching a point of stability after a journey. You have been through the chaos represented by the other cards in this reading. You have navigated the confusion, the betrayal, the conflict, and now you are arriving at a place of peace and celebration. This card is a promise that your patience is going to pay off in tangible ways. You are not just going to feel vindicated. You are going to actually experience the positive results of having taken the high road. What I love about the Four of Wands appearing as the final card is that it shows the outcome of this situation is not about your enemies getting punished. The outcome is about you being blessed. It is about you creating a life so full of genuine joy and stability that what these other people did or did not do becomes completely irrelevant to your happiness. That is the ultimate freedom. That is the ultimate victory. Not needing them to suffer for you to thrive. Not needing them to be exposed for you to feel validated. Just living so fully in your own authentic joy that their chaos is nothing but background noise. The Four of Wands is giving me this sense of home and sanctuary, whether that is a physical home that feels safe and beautiful, or an inner sense of being at home in yourself, or a community that feels like family. You are creating sacred space in your life. And part of what makes this space so sacred is that you are being very intentional about who and what you allow into it. The lessons you learned from dealing with these toxic people have taught you to protect your peace, to value your energy, and to only invest in relationships that are reciprocal and genuine. I am also seeing celebration and gratitude as major themes with the Four of Wands. Archangel Michael is encouraging you to actively celebrate the good things in your life, even the small ones. Celebrate your growth. Celebrate your strength. Celebrate the fact that you maintained your integrity when it would have been easier to sink to their level. Celebrate the genuine relationships you do have. Celebrate every step forward you take, because that energy of celebration and gratitude is going to magnetize even more blessings into your life. The Four of Wands is showing me that you have support from the spiritual realm as well. Angels, guides, ancestors, whatever you believe in, they are celebrating with you. They are proud of how you have handled this situation. They are supporting the new chapter you are stepping into. And that spiritual support is going to continue to guide you toward opportunities, connections, and experiences that align with your highest good. What really stands out to me about the Four of Wands as the conclusion of this reading is that it represents a complete shift in energy from conflict to celebration, from chaos to stability, from betrayal to authentic connection. This is not just about surviving what happened. This is about thriving in the aftermath. This is about building a life so aligned with your truth that anyone operating in deception simply cannot exist in your space anymore. So Pisces, let me bring all of this together for you because Archangel Michael has given us such a complete picture of what is happening right now and what is coming for you. Your enemies are indeed in total chaos and conflict. The High Priestess showed us that secrets are being revealed and the truth is emerging. The Knight of Pentacles showed us that this is happening methodically and steadily. Death showed us that their false personas are crumbling irreversibly. The Fool showed us that you are stepping into a fresh beginning, unburdened by their toxicity. Six of Swords showed us that they are retreating, damaged, and troubled. L continue. And finally, Four of Wands showed us that you are building a life of joy, stability, and genuine connection that has absolutely nothing to do with their chaos. This is your confirmation that patience is not passive. Patience is powerful. Patience allows divine justice to work. Patience keeps you in your integrity, while others destroy themselves through their own actions. Archangel Michael wants you to know that you are completely protected right now. The chaos your enemies are experiencing cannot touch you unless you allow it to. Stay focused on building your own beautiful life. Stay committed to your own growth and healing. Stay open to the blessings that are flowing toward you. And trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to for your highest good and for truth to prevail. The next few weeks are going to show you exactly who these people really are. You are not going to have to do anything to expose them. Their own actions and the natural consequences of those actions are going to reveal the truth in ways that nobody can deny. And while that is happening, you get to keep moving forward into the life you are meant to live, surrounded by people who genuinely love and appreciate you, celebrating milestones that actually matter, and feeling peace in your heart because you know you handled everything with grace and integrity. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Pisces. I hope this reading brought you the confirmation and encouragement you needed. Remember, divine timing is always perfect, and your patience is going to be rewarded beyond what you can currently imagine. I will see you in the next reading.